Welcome to Whispering Tales TV, where we unravel captivating stories that will leave you spellbound. Join our community by sharing your own tales at whisperingtalestv@gmail.com, and let's embark on a journey of imagination together. Story 1. The Hitchhiker. It was a stormy night, rain lashing against the windshield as I navigated the desolate highway. The world outside was cloaked in darkness, and the only illumination came from the feeble glow of my headlights. As I rounded a bend, I spotted a figure at the side of the road. A hitchhiker, drenched and desperate for a ride. Against my better judgment, I pulled over. The stranger climbed in, his clothes clinging to him, water dripping onto the upholstery. He was a man of few words, his face half hidden in the shadows. "Thanks for stopping," he muttered, his voice low and raspy. I tried to make small talk, but he seemed distant, lost in his own thoughts. The atmosphere inside the car grew heavy, the silence punctuated only by the drumming of rain on the roof. Suddenly he turned to me, his eyes gleaming in the rearview mirror. They were cold, devoid of warmth or humanity. It sent a chill down my spine, a primal instinct warning me of danger. "Can you please pull over?" he asked abruptly. I obliged, heart pounding. He stepped out into the rain without a word of thanks, disappearing into the night. As I drove away, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. A few miles down the road, I passed an old motel. Its neon sign flickered in the rain-soaked darkness. I decided to stop for the night, the encounter with the hitchhiker still fresh in my mind. Inside, the reception was eerily empty. The air was musty, and the only sound was the hum of a malfunctioning vending machine. I rang the bell, hoping to summon the attention of the owner. A frail elderly man shuffled out from a back room. His eyes were tired, haunted. "Room for one?" he croaked. I nodded, suddenly uneasy. He handed me a key with trembling hands, cautioning me to stay inside until morning. As I settled into the room, the events of the night weighed on me. I couldn't shake the feeling that the hitchhiker had brought with him something sinister, something that lingered in the rainy night. Hours passed, the storm outside showing no signs of abating. And then a sound echoed through the hallway, footsteps slow and deliberate. I held my breath, listening intently. They drew nearer, stopping just outside my door. I could feel a malevolent presence on the other side, a force that seemed to seep through the walls. And then, as suddenly as it had come, the presence vanished. The footsteps receded, leaving behind a suffocating silence. Morning eventually came, the rain finally relenting. I left the motel, the events of the night etched into my memory. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that the hitchhiker brought with him something more than just a need for shelter from the rain. The memory of that rainy night on the desolate highway haunts me, a reminder that sometimes even a simple act of kindness can lead to unspeakable horrors. Story 2. The Abandoned Road. The rain fell in sheets, obscuring my view as I navigated the winding roads of the countryside. The headlights cut through the darkness, revealing only a few feet ahead. As I rounded a bend, I spotted an old weathered sign pointing towards a road I had never noticed before. It read Whispering Pines Road, a name that sent a shiver down my spine. Curiosity got the better of me, and I veered onto the narrow, overgrown path. The rain beat against the car, the sound a steady rhythm that seemed to echo in the silence. The road seemed to stretch on endlessly, flanked by towering trees that loomed like silent sentinels. The atmosphere grew oppressive, the air thick with an unexplainable heaviness. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the mist, standing in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes, heart pounding. It was a woman, her clothes tattered and soaked through. Without a word, she climbed into the back seat, her presence sending a wave of unease through the car. "Thank you," she murmured, her voice soft and distant. I tried to make conversation, to ask her where she was headed, but she remained silent, staring out into the rainy night. As we drove on, the road seemed to grow darker, the trees pressing in from all sides. It was as if the world outside had faded away, leaving only the narrow path ahead. I stole a glance at the rearview mirror, but the woman was no longer there. The back seat sat empty, a chilling reminder of the inexplicable. Panic set in, and I slammed on the brakes, bringing the car to a screeching halt. I stepped out into the rain, scanning the surroundings for any sign of the woman. But there was nothing, only the abandoned road, stretching endlessly in both directions. I returned to the car, heart pounding. As I drove away, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of something unseen lurking just beyond my vision. Days later, I tried to find Whispering Pines Road again, but it was as if it had vanished from the map. It was as if the road existed only in that rainy night, a spectral path that led to unknown realms. To this day, I can't explain what happened on that desolate road. The memory of the woman and the abandoned road haunts me, a reminder that sometimes, even the most ordinary paths can lead to the extraordinary and the inexplicable. Story 3. The Phantom Car. The rain was relentless, drumming against the roof of my car as I navigated the slick city streets. The windshield wipers worked overtime, struggling to keep up with the deluge. As I approached an intersection, I noticed a car up ahead, its hazard lights flashing in the downpour. It was an old battered sedan, stranded on the side of the road. I pulled up beside it, my headlights casting an eerie glow on the wet pavement. Through the rain-soaked windows, I could make out the silhouette of a man hunched over the steering wheel. "Need a hand?" I called out, rolling down my window. The man turned, his face obscured by the shadows. He nodded, gratitude evident in his tired eyes. Together, we pushed the car to the side of the road, seeking refuge from the relentless rain. He introduced himself as Michael, explaining that his car had broken down in the storm. I offered to give him a lift, and he accepted gratefully. As he settled into the passenger seat, he thanked me for my kindness. We drove on through the rain-soaked streets, the rhythmic patter of water on the roof our only companion. Michael was quiet, lost in his thoughts, but he seemed genuinely relieved to be out of the storm. As we approached his destination, he directed me to a quiet, tree-lined street. The houses were old and grand, their architecture a testament to another era. "This is it," he said, gratitude in his voice. I pulled up to the curb, and he stepped out into the rain. As he turned to thank me again, I noticed something peculiar. His feet didn't touch the ground. He hovered just above the wet pavement. In an instant, he vanished, leaving behind nothing but the echo of his voice in the rainy night. I sat in stunned silence, heart pounding. It was as if I had encountered a phantom, a spirit seeking shelter from the storm. Shaken, I drove away, the memory of the phantom passenger etched into my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had witnessed something beyond explanation, something that defied the laws of the natural world. To this day, I can't forget the image of Michael, the phantom passenger. The memory haunts me, a reminder that even in the most ordinary acts of kindness, there can be encounters with the extraordinary and the unexplained. Thanks for watching Whispering Tales TV. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join our community of fellow thrill seekers. Get ready for spine-tingling stories that will keep you up at night. Let the Whispering Tales begin.